the serpent says to Eve, he says, "You will not surely die," when he's talking about eating the fruit. "For God knows that when you eat it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." And I just think that's so interesting that the serpent says, he says, "You will be like God, and you will know good and evil." And it continues to say, so when Eve saw the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to her eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took the fruit and ate it. And she also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate. And the eyes of both of them were open, and they knew they were naked. This is just like the most ridiculous thing. I just can't believe it, but it is sin and it is us. And God, who gave us the world, who gave us food, he gave us love, security, comfort. He gave us a place to live. And Eve basically says, "God, I'm not. I think I can do better. I think I can make decisions for myself. I can be God, and I can do what's better for me. I can do what's better for me." And so when she eats this fruit, sin drops into our life, and that we have been tainted. And this is sin. This is a separation from God, from what we once were, a holy and perfect being in a relationship with God. And now look at us. We can't do anything about this. This is a separation from God. We have no ability to get back to this. And we're saying, "God, I don't really think what you have in store for me is good. I think I can go my own way and I can figure out and I can make myself happy." And sometimes we think "Oh, that's Eve. That has nothing to do with us. I would have made that decision." But when we go to Romans chapter 5 or chapter 3:23, it says, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." That doesn't mean just Eve. That means us too. That we also have been fit into this category of turning our backs to God and being tainted by sin. And it's just, it happens in modern day. And it's not just like eating. We have our own fruit of knowledge that we eat on a constant day. And it's not about things. Sin is not things that we do. Well, it is. It's a small part of that, but it's a heart condition. Our heart has been tainted by sin. We have a hole, and we're trying to fix this hole that's unfixable by us. We have no possible way of fixing that. So I just want to talk about some things that we try and satisfy our life with. That we try to make sin go away. We're like, "Oh, we're not sinful." We're trying to make ourselves. We go for this feeling or it's something that we have, a recognition that makes us feel happy. So sometimes, maybe this is nail polish, which is going to represent appearance. Maybe if we look really good on campus, maybe people will notice us, and maybe we will be happy. Maybe that will last us for eternity. Maybe that will make everything feel all right. And in the end, maybe someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, you don't look that good." And then we're diminished, and we're back to ground zero. We're back to where we are, empty, left with nothing. Let's say approval of our parents. More sin. Looking for someone to make us feel good about, "Hey, you did your chores, that's great." But then again, maybe they can come down on you and be like, "Hey, you haven't been honoring our last name. You haven't been honoring who you represent." Or let's just say grades. Let's say, "Oh, it's okay, so I haven't been doing this well. Let's go to good grades. Good grades will really help me. People will acknowledge me, and they'll see, and I'll be really happy. I'll get a 4.0. I'll go to wherever. I'll go to MIT. I'll get a law degree. Anything ridiculous like that." And then maybe you get an F on a test, and then you're left down to ground zero again. to something with more gravity. Let's say it's a weekend, and we're tired of the life we're living, and we just want to relax, hang out with some guys, and just forget about what happened. Let's just forget the weekend. Let's just go have a few bevies and not think about anything. And maybe that'll make us feel better.
Need a napkin.
What?
Need a napkin.
I'm good. I'm beer. Or maybe we want to go to something else. That'll give us maybe a better buzz, that we'll forget everything, that will eventually, when this buzz rise up, is gone, we're left back with sin, and we're trying to figure out where the heck we're supposed to go with life. And we keep falling for different things, trying to help ourselves out, and it's not working. In 1 John, it talks about 3 different types of sin. It talks about desires of the flesh, desires of the eye, and pride of possession. And this can encompass every sin that we've ever committed. Desires of the flesh has to deal with like our feelings, how we feel, something that makes us feel good, makes us feel happy. Desires of the eye is something that we want. We want to have, say, oh, we could have a better car, a better something. This will make us happy. And pride of possession is something that we already have, but we think we deserve recognition. And we deserve something for people to say, like, oh, you're really good at this, and that'll make us happy. And this is the continual cycle that we go through. And the worst thing is, in Romans 6:23, it says, for the wages of sin is death. For everything that we do to try and fix our situation, we deserve death. We're on a path for death. I don't think we think about the gravity of that in an everyday situation, but we're on a path to death. And we're trying to turn our backs from God and say, hey, I can do this. I can do this on my own. I don't need you. So I just want to leave you with a couple of questions. First, are you a sinner? Do you think you're a sinner? And one way I like to illustrate this is there's an idea of have you ever archery? There's 2 people involved in archery. There's one person that's shooting the arrow, and there's one person down at the bullseye saying what happened. And in the bullseye is perfection, and if you hit the bullseye, you say the person down at the mark says mark, meaning you hit perfection. But if you miss, it's the person literally says sin. If you miss an inch away, you hit your sin. If you miss the target, you say sin. There's little things, there's big things, but they're all sin. And that's the situation that we're in. So, another question: what are you trying to fill your life with? What are you trying to fulfill yourself, satisfy yourself with? What is that doing for you? Is that working? I wanted you guys to ask these questions to yourself tonight, maybe sometime this week, just to think about where we're headed in our life. That's all I have. I told you this would suck, but this is the depth of our sin. And if we're going to understand this, then this is how we're going to